Used to be a hustler. I used to be a runner. Came from the gutter. Now we be on that struggle. Used to be in a life full of crime. I gotta hustle and do whatever it takes to survive up in the jungle. Talking rock bottom from the gutter. I used to get in trouble, but now I'm beyond the struggle.
Hey everybody, this is Mark with Beyond the Struggle. I am with Jesse and Misty. We are going to finish our final interview with them and pick up from where we left off on each one of their interviews. So everybody already knows, you guys, what we're going to do here. We're just going to pick up kind of where we left off. And let me see if I can remember now. So if I remember correctly, when I talked to you, Jesse, we were when you met Misty, you met her at the hospital,
Yes.
right? You were taking your mom to the hospital, and you were still using,
Yes.
right? And when you met him, I think in your point, you went a little bit further, but you already met him. To bring everybody up to speed, I think you were saying that you already knew he was using. I remember an incident where he was about to use, and he was like, "Hey, don't even mess with me right now. I'm about to get high." Like, you're like, "Whatever, dude. Like, I've been doing this shit." So let's pick up from there, and let's go ahead and go from there and see where this goes. How's that sound?
All right. So so when I had relapsed, drinking those shots with Jesse, I told him, because I was drinking shots, and I told him, "Look, I need some dope now to get up, you know?" And that's when really, forgive me, Mark.
No, that's okay. That's all right. Obviously it's been a while too. I get it. Don't worry about it.
All right, so
let's start from the you were taking your support. You were supporting somebody to the hospital, right? Let's start from the parking lot, right? Sound right?
All right, so we're I'm supporting someone to the hospital, and I'm outside, and I see someone roll up on a bike, and I was like, "Hey, do you got a lighter?" He was like, "Yeah." So from there we started chopping it up. He's like, "You want to go to Burger King?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I told the girl I was supporting, I was like, "Hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go to Burger King." So we went. Yeah, came back. We ate our hamburgers. That was about time his mom was being discharged. So he ended up leaving, and we were texting, and I was still at the hospital. But I was like, "Hey, I don't want that, but I want something else." So that something else was a booty call, and that's just what it is. Around that time, it was like that. So he comes back. We do our thing in his mom's car and stuff, and then from there, I go back. He goes back home. I didn't think nothing of it, and we start texting, start talking. I'm sober, and I was like, well, if you want to get with me, you got to be sober. You got to get sober, you know? And after that, like, I didn't see him do any more dope, or he said he was getting sober or bullshit me. But, yeah, so from there, he would come visit me at the program a lot. And then I started saying I would go to doctor visits, but I was really going to see him. So like every chance I got, I would see him. So supporting me in the rehab, I complete the rehab and I go to the sober living. Sober living's good. I'm about to complete it. We're doing good. We're still together. I start drinking.
Okay.
I started taking shots. And from there, the shots got me really fucked up. So I felt like I needed to get up. So I told him, well, go get me some dope. And he's like, no, you're not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not getting it for you. And I said, well, if you don't get it, I'll get it somewhere else.
And he was like, I ain't having it.
Oh, that's what exactly happened. And we went from there. So we started getting high.
But you're still in the
and sober living.
In the sober living, where you really liked it at.
Yeah. I was doing good, and then I think I was gonna complete within 2 months. My drug program and everything. And yeah, I relapsed. I didn't give a dirty test or anything, but I was testing, but I was just doing it where I didn't get caught, you know?
Right.
So that continued on and off, getting high. And I ended up pregnant. I ended up pregnant. No, I ended up pregnant, and I got an abortion. I didn't think it was. I wasn't ready for another kid.
Right.
Mind you, I already have kids. Well, why am I going to keep bringing another? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To the world and stuff. You know. I got an abortion, and later on, he told my counselor, because we got in a fight. We were doing drugs, we were arguing, domestic violence, whatever the case was. He called my counselor and told her, told her I was getting high. So my counselor called me in the office and told me to drug test. And I told her, I didn't really tell her anything. I kind of just went back to the sober living and packed my stuff up and left. Went on the little run. I didn't talk to him for a while. 3 months later, after I got caught up. I got caught up and I actually called him collect, and we started talking again. He put money on the phone. We started talking again, and I told him, "Look, they're gonna send me to a program that's co-ed." He's like, "All right, so why don't you try to get in there so we could do this program together, right?" That was gonna be the deal. That was gonna be the plans, and we get in the program. Nothing's going well. We're arguing. He leaves. I leave a week later. After that, we didn't talk for a year. So maybe like 8, 9, about a year.
About a year, close to a year.
Yeah. So from there, I was off and running, doing my thing. He was off and running, doing his thing, whatever. And then from there, I hit him up.
But I think if I remember though, you did leave out a little part though. Just to clarify, I mean, when he did call, you were upset. I remember you telling me that.
I was very hurt.
That was the reason.
You know what I'm saying? I was upset.
But I just want to leave it out there, air it out like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was hurt. I was very upset. It's not that it made it right. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that you're not supposed to do that. But her being a female and just having have my baby, and I was just hurt. I wasn't thinking right. Yeah. I didn't worry about no consequences. I wasn't thinking about her consequences, not knowing that there was going to be consequences. Right. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, what could happen to me? Well, anyway, so make a long to get to that. So we separated for about a year, and that year was a real rough time for me. I was doing heroin still, and started using a little bit more. Had to run across a little bit of money, so I started getting addicted a little bit more. And she calls one day. I get a phone call from my mom, and she tells me, "Hey, someone came over here looking for you. Guess who?" And I'm like, "Who?" No, I take that back. It was my little cousin. I'm staying with my cousin Lorraine at her house. She comes looking for me. My little cousin Robert tells me, "Hey, they came looking for you." I'm all, "Who?" He's all, "Misty." And I'm like, "What, Misty?" He's all, "Yeah, I remember that girl you were with." And I was like, "Yeah, I know who you're talking about." So, I was excited for that and jazzed up. My mom tells me later on that day that she did go by her house too and look for me. So one day I'm at her, a couple of weeks go by, I'm at her room, doing my thing, getting high and whatnot. And I get a Cash App text. I get a Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, and I'm new to this Cash App, and I get a thing saying, requesting for money. I'm like, who the fuck's this? And I look and it says, Misty Vivier. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm all jazzed up. I'm like, whoa, she's coming looking for me. That's a good sign now. Because, after I did what I did, we didn't talk for a whole year. So I'm all jazzed up. She's looking for me. And, we hook up and, I answer her and I'm like, still like with the chip on my shoulder, but at the same time, not having the chip on my shoulder. So we make amends. I give her a little run. She wants to meet up with me, and I'm still sketchy on her. Nah, because I'm so angry still. So I don't want to meet her and a wrong, you know what I mean, to be wrong and start arguing with her or fighting with her, you know what I mean, because my motives were bad at the time still.
Right.
So I'm like, cool, we're still talking. I don't know, Mark, what it is, but I love this girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was love before sight. I don't know. So I'm like jazzed up still. I'm like, you know what? Let's try to make this work. So we end up hooking up. I met up with her. We meet up at LA. I meet up with her and, we go on our little run. We're doing what drug addicts do, doing our come ups, you know, living a drug life, you know, in and out of hotels. She ends up pregnant. Now she's pregnant. So, I find out she's pregnant with my son, OJ. And, we're like not in a good situation. We're still, using drugs. And, she's about, 2-3 months after I find out she's pregnant. And I'm at the point now, I'm not doing heroin no more.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just straight meth.
I'm just doing meth now. I kicked all the heroin. Like I was telling you guys on my other story, how I kicked it. So I'm not even doing the heroin no more. I'm just doing meth, and like I said, meth really wasn't my drug. It was heroin. So I would hit the pipe every few times out the day. And I was really wanting to stop, man. I'm begging her. I'm like, hey man, we need to stop. And
so when I was pregnant with OJ, I was using on and on. I was using, and all I know, Mark, is I didn't want to lose another kid.
Right.
I didn't want to go out like that. You know what I mean? I did get sober up. That's when he used to take me to the park, and I would sleep while he stayed up. But we didn't have a house. We were homeless. We were in our car,
Right.
And so I get sober, and I have OJ, and from there we're doing good.
We're in a shelter. We're doing good. We were sleeping in. They opened up a PATH program. They opened up a family shelter. They let us in there. I ended up getting a job with the labor's union through this PATH program. I'm doing real good. I'm going to work every day. And then I come home one day, and I'm like, I see all kinds of people in this program. This program used to be a hotel. It was a hotel, and everybody's happy-go-lucky. And I'm like, this nothing wasn't right in this picture. And I get home, and I knew right off the bat. I just, a tweaker knows a tweaker, right? That's the old school saying, right? An addict knows an addict. And I walk in there, and she has, the whole house. What it is, it's like a little hotel. Like I said, it was a whole hotel. So you know the hotels, you have your bed, but this one had a kitchen in it. They set it up for us to have kitchen so you can cook in there. So I get there, and everything's cleaned up. Mind you, OJ's only about a month, 2 months old, not even 3 months. I don't even think that.
2 months.
2 months, and I get it home, and I'm coming in with my big old ice box, and like I said, we're in Southern Cali, so it's hot out there. I'm in the labor's union, you know what I mean? I'm freshly trying to get off these drugs, and just got off a little bit of drugs, so I'm sweating, and I walk in there, and my wife's just fully wired, and I'm like, man, where'd you get this from? And the old arguments going from there, and
I was going through postpartum depression when I had OJ, and I didn't like myself. I was unhappy with myself. I didn't like how I looked. I didn't, because I gained all that weight from OJ. I didn't like how I felt. I had no energy. I wanted to get up,
Mm-hmm.
So sure enough, I found someone within that program that was happy-go-lucky, you know what I mean? And sure enough, I got some. So I figure I hid it from him for a while. Not that long, though, until he caught on.
Yeah.
Maybe like a couple weeks, even playing possum, all that stuff. And sure enough, when he came home, Mark, and he found out I was high, he was hurt. He was hurt. I remember that day clearly. I remember clearly he got on his knees and he was begging me, why are we doing this? Why are you doing this to your kid? What's wrong with you? What are you doing, Misty? We're supposed to be sober. And I told him, let me go. Let me go through what I'm going through. I told him that.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Yeah, and I remember you.
Numb.
I remember you telling me she was like suicidal and going.
Yeah, she was. At that point, Mark. She didn't let me to cry, but
there's some tissue there.
At that point, I was just like, man, I didn't want her to give up. I didn't know if I was going to be left with my son. Is this chick just going to bone out on me? You know what I mean? I didn't know what to expect. So I was very hurt. I came a long way and I didn't want her. You know, I already let her down one time by turning my back on her and calling her counselor, right? So I was like, man, you know, I'm trying to make things right with her, make amends with her, and show her that I could take care of her. And she did that. And I might hear her say, oh, you did this and all that, you know, because we're together. So it was both of us. So I'm not going to blame it all on her because I ended up hitting the pipe with her.
Right.
So I was hurt. And then we started arguing. Well, then give me the fucking pipe and let's get high. Here we go. Let's do this. If you're going to do it, let's do this. So as we're getting high, it was a thing that she used to tell me, let me go through what I'm going through. I need to go through it.
Right.
And I used to get upset at it. And I used to sit right there and be like, how long do I have to go through this? Now we're already 6-7 months in. Now we got a CPS case. We get kicked out of this program. We catch a CPS case. Now we're launching off to Seattle.
Right where you didn't want to be.
Didn't want to be, you know? So we're getting ready to launch off. We pick up the CPS case. We get all our stuff out of this program. Now we're like, you know, we're looking at the clock. We're looking left and right behind us, making sure the cops are going to roll up. A CPS worker. We're standing outside this program with all our stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're fucking up. We're already both high. Now you know what I mean? And we're up to no good. So we end up, it was on my birthday. We were leaving. We ended up going to Seattle. I got told that my uncle told me that he would look out for me and all this other stuff, you know, give me the good story, you know, and I fell for it because I was in my addiction. And not only that though, but I was on the run. I didn't tell him that we're, you know what I mean? That the CPS, and we got a case, you know what I mean? That this case going on for, you know what I mean? This, CPS case that we picked up from this program. Yeah. From this program. Didn't tell him. I was just trying to get over there, trying to run from this problem, right? Thinking that, okay, we're going to get sobered up and wanting to get sobered up. So this whole time we're using, and I'm begging her, and now I'm going through, my wife's suicidal, and she's going through this postpartum depression. Yeah. And we're renting this hotel. We're up in Seattle, and we're in this hotel, and, you know, she's in the restroom, and I would go knock on the restroom, and she's sitting right there, sloppy, like, you know, slouching down on the wall and with the blade, and I have OJ right there, and I'm trying to hold it all together, Mark, and I'm an addict too, and I'm trying to hold all this down together, and I never dealt with anybody with this postpartum depression. I don't know what to do. Do I call the cops? I would tell her, hey, not the cops, the ambulance. You want me to call the ambulance? You need to go to the hospital. You need to do something. You're going to end up hurting yourself. And she would tell me, let me go through what I'm going through. Let me go. But all the time she was telling me that, she's right there hitting the pipe. We both are. We're both in the restroom hitting the pipe. Yeah. We can't put it down. But I'm wanting to so bad. And I know she wants to. And I keep telling her, you know, Rick, know what's real, what's not. So, you know, we're up there for about a good 2 months in Seattle. And, you know, what's funny is, today we're sitting at the house and we're just going through some pictures, and, you know, we brought up this picture of it. We're at Seattle. So anyway, we're at the Seattle airport, and, we're there for about a week. My son, mind you, is not even 4 months, 5 months, if that. And, we're right there at the airport. We're there for a whole week, sleeping right there. If you've been to Seattle, I know you have. If you know where the Alaska Airlines at, when you get up there on that second floor, when you walk off that ramp, if you look right there on that side of that counter, we were there for a whole week. Whole week right there. No shower, nothing. Just, we didn't even eat. We were just all doped out, going restroom to restroom, moving from the whatever top floor is to the bottom floor. It's big. You know, we're doing that, and we're trying to get out of there. And we're trying to, you know, this whole time we're fighting this drug addiction. Yeah. And we keep running and running. And we get these little gaps in between, Mark, where we're clean for about a month, and then bam, take a slip for a day or two, and going at it again. You know what I mean? We're at it again, arguing, you know? So we're there, and they asked us, hey, you guys want to get out of, you need to ask, a lady comes up to us and says, I can get you out of here. Where are you guys coming from? And we told her. So my wife, you know, she had a warrant, I had a warrant. We didn't want to take the airline.
I was paranoid.
She was very paranoid. So
makes sense.
Later on that night, we get on the Flex bus. We leave from Seattle. We get to Oregon. Okay. Portland, Oregon. We're about now maybe going on 6-7 months into our little run. You know what I mean? Running around from after leaving the program. You know what I mean?
We're still getting high.
And we're still getting high.
And I'm talking about.
The crazy part is you realizing you left from Cali to Seattle, and somewhere in between here, I know, because I did it myself when I came from Cali to here, was one of the reasons, you know. I'm thinking I'm gonna get away from the drugs, and it's gonna be easier because no one knows me out here, and it's gonna be hard.
That's what we're thinking.
But you are the problem.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So now you leave. Now you leave from there, from Seattle. Now you're in Oregon, right?
And now we're in Oregon. So, and then we found when we get to Oregon, mind you, we don't have no shelter, we don't have no money,
and we got a 5-month-old baby,
and our baby,
and we're and a matter of fact, we're around this time. It's winter time because I left on my birthday, November 5th. You know what I'm saying? So we're still into January, February, and you know, Seattle, Oregon. It's still it's cold. Mind you, we're with a stroller. I have 4 suitcases. What each suitcase is facing backwards, with bungee cords wrapped around, and 2 totes on each one. Pushing those 2 while she's pushing OJ. This is full blown winter. We're in a storm, and we're out there getting high. Still.
Getting high, and we slept with OJ.
Slept with them in the streets. We get
in the snow. Yeah.
We get to Portland. I get to the Union Station. I ask the security guard, "Hey, where's this shelter? Where's shelter at?" He gives me to a shelter. We get to the shelter. They don't want to let us in because it's for singles, and it was co-ed, but it was for singles, and you could tell it was like mental health. You know what I mean? And then you could tell there's people already in there that live there. You know what I mean? On that they're continued clients.
They let them out for the day.
Yeah, exactly. So we get there, mind you, it's 11, 12 at night, full blown rain, cold as hell. Nothing. All we have are just some hoodie sweaters, and I'm pushing my son, trying to find peace, not knowing that there's still going to be drugs, like you said. You know, so in my head and stuff, I'm trying to put in my head and my heart that I'm trying to stop, and I'm trying to get her to stop and plant the seed in her. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Let's stop. But we're not trying to stop. Somehow, some way, we just keep getting a little bit of money in our pocket, and I keep running, looking for dope with our kid, and we're still homeless. Mark.
I would send him out there in the street. Here's some money. Go find me some dope.
And if I didn't find it, it was my wife. I'm sorry to say, baby, I love you, but she was suicidal, Mark. Where if she didn't have it, it was the demons, bro. I can't say it was weird. You know, it was crazy. And I would go in there, and she'll be right there crying, and I'll be begging her on my knees, like she says, "Let's stop." So we're now we're in the 4 or 5 months now. Now we're in this whole. We just left Seattle. Now we're in Seattle.
We're in Oregon. So we're just trying to get that shelter, right? And it was for the singles and stuff. But that night we slept outside with OJ right there, and all the people around us are doing fentanyl. Every single person is doing fentanyl. So we have OJ right there. We're under blankets, sleeping outside. They did not let us in one time, not even to change OJ's diaper. You know what I mean? So from there, we got a motel. I got some EBT cash out there, whatever. We get a motel. We're in the motel. Hey, babe, he looks like a tweaker. Hey, ask him if he has any dope. Everywhere we went, Mark. Everywhere. I couldn't let go of it. I didn't want to stop. I don't know what it was. You know, it had a hold of me. You know, and so we start fighting in the hotel. We start fighting and fighting. Life's miserable. I hate it. I hate myself. I hate who I am. I hate who I'm becoming. I don't like myself. We ended up taking OJ to the hospital. We found out he had COVID. We ended up all 3 having it. That night, we stopped. I said, I don't want it no more. I told God, too, when we got to that warming shelter, I told God, I don't want this no more. You know, give me that bitter taste in my mouth. I don't want the cravings no more. You know, we did stop. We stopped for a while, Mark.
Yeah.
We did. We stopped. We gained weight. We were doing good. We were happy. We were smiling. OJ was smiling. We were attending to our kid more, being a parent. We ended up buying a car. We're still trying to get back to California because it's too cold out there, you know? So we're trying to get back to California, and we figure, hey, we're sober now. We can go back to Cali, and we could, you know, stay sober, right? We'll be all right. Well, we're over there trying to find shelter, you know. We end up getting a car. We drove back to California. We didn't go to the south side though. We didn't go to Southern Cali. We went up north. We figure, hey, we don't. That's not nobody. We don't know nobody. Here we go again. Yeah. So we're doing good. We end up finding a shelter out there that takes families. We got in there. First, we started at a shelter with singles, and they helped us out. They got us into a family shelter. They didn't close their doors on us, so they let us sleep in there with OJ. So they got us into a family shelter. We're doing good.
The name of the program too, the shelter was called Hope, and they also gave us hope, Mark. Mm-hmm. They gave us hope big time, bro. Yeah. They gave us so we're in Sacramento. We get there, we get this place, and like I said, it was called Hope, and they gave us hope. We met a caseworker there. We get our little the food stamps, and where you go apply it for, and we meet this lady, and she's the caseworker supervisor. We explained to her what's going on with my son OJ, and what you told me, Mark. You said if there's one thing that you can believe in is what you told me, and you said stand up there with your 10 toes, your head up and chest out, man. Mm-hmm. And that's what she did. She sees something that I guess I didn't even see in myself, and she didn't see in herself. She believed in us. So that lady lit the torch for us, man. She lit it for us, and she would sit down like the way she sit down with us in her little room and with no other ears and sit down, and you could tell this lady was genuinely pouring out her heart. And I would listen to her, and she gave me so much confidence. And Miss Alex, I love that lady a lot. Bless that lady's heart, and she gave both of us confidence. So we're doing all that, and so I get we get this family shelter. Now they move us to another shelter, and they say this is for other families. You're in a trailer park. All right, cool. So I go get my California driver license, and mind you, we're on the run still. We have the CPS case, and we're believing what this lady says. She says, you know what, honey, if they wanted your son, they would come and get him right now.
Cali don't play.
Yeah, exactly. That's what she said. And a matter of fact, she goes, and LA County at that, she goes, believe me, they're going to come. All right, cool. She goes, she was a lady that believed in God. And like I said, she lit it. She had me believing that nothing was going to happen. And she had planted that seed that they already know where you're at. If they're going to come, they're going to come. So I was like, cool. So we're sober. So if they want us to piss, we're good. So everything's going good. I go get my license and I send it to her cousin's house. The license get it over there. A week later, bam, you got Roseville PD and PD and the Sacramento sheriff.
Let's go back though. So his mom came to visit us, and we were doing good. His mom was visiting. He got a job that was a graveyard shift. Okay, and I told him, watch out. It could be a trigger. To me, that would be a trigger. You know what I mean? I'm not ready for no graveyard shifts. Yeah. I told him to watch for those things that could be a trigger for you. Sure enough, within a week, his mom flew back home that day, that night.
That night she flew. As soon as she flew home, I looked at Misty and I said, I'm going to go buy a dub. Right? But I didn't tell her or nothing, but I already had the dub in my pocket. The dope was already in my pocket and the pookie was already in my pocket. So I get over there, I drop them off at the airport. I come home and bam, off and running.
So we start getting high. And I agreed with him, you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck it, if you're gonna do it, I want to do it. So that's what we did. We started getting high. We started getting loud.
Arguing a little bit.
Getting out of character. People know us as smiling, talking, all that.
We're at the shelter.
When we're high, bro, don't even look at my door because everything's closed up, bro. Yeah, for real. So that's what happened. We closed down. You can know.
Something's not right.
Yeah, you know when something's not right. So we started doing our thing. When he got his driver's license sent to my cousin's house, well, CPS raided the house. Mind you, we're high, right, Mark? There we go. My cousin calls me. Hey, they raided my house looking for you, OJ, and Jesse. Fuck. I'm paranoid now. You know what I mean? I'm like, we got to get out of here because she knows where we're at. Right. You know what I mean? I don't trust her. You know what I mean? So sure enough,
she tells me what's going on. Like she said, we're wired, we're full blowing high. So I look at her and I'm saying, okay, well,
let's run.
I go, right, well,
run.
You know what we do. You know what I'm saying? You know what to do. Start packing up all our shit. Take whatever's important. Make sure you pack all of OJ's clothes, whatever's ours, whatever we can't fit to stay. This is roll. So we had our car, we sold it, and in the process of that, I tell her, hey, why don't we call your dad? Why don't you call your dad?
A week before, when we did relapse, though, I did call my dad and I told him I was fucking up. Yeah. I tell my dad anything.
Yeah, and I remember that.
I called him. I said, we're getting high again.
Right.
He goes, I could tell. Why haven't you called me anything? I'm fucking up, Dad. Me and Jesse are fighting. We're coming physical. You know what I mean? And it's getting crazy because I got OJ in the car and we're out. He's walking down the block. I'm trying to chase him. Shit's getting crazy.
Yeah.
And he's all, I don't know what you guys keep doing this shit. And sure enough, he said,
he wanted to talk to me.
Yeah.
He wanted to talk to me. He talked to me. So I was on the next day I answered the phone. I called him and I was talking to him, and he was just, I look up my father-in-law like a dad. I don't have my dad. I love Carl a lot. I respect that man a lot, because I know he won't blow smoke up my ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's straightforward.
Straightforward. And he tells me, and I tell him, yeah, I'm not gonna lie to him. To tell him the truth, yeah, I'm fucking up. Yeah, Carl, I did lay hands on her again. I'm sorry. Nah, I'm getting tired of that. Sorry, stop doing your shit. It's that fucking drugs. It's the drugs. I know it is, bro. I seen you. I know you're a different person. She told me already. I know it's the drugs. So we're into that. I get back home. So now we're at, so like she said, the cops go looking for me. They're doing all that, and they're looking for us. And so the next day we sell our car. I get on the phone and I call my father-in-law. I call him up and I tell him, hey, our situation. And he tells me, everything's gonna be okay. You guys are gonna have to face the music. Just you need to stop fucking getting high. All right, but I'm high on the phone still. But I'm saying okay. So he tells me, so I tell him, hey, I tell her, I'm going to call your dad because everybody that's over there, all his Southsider buddies, all his buddies from, you know what I mean?
Everybody's sober.
Yeah, everybody's freaking sober.
I want some of that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how they doing it? You know what I mean? I mean, your dad, the last time I seen your dad, he was tore up from the floor up. But your dad made a promise. I remember your dad saying that he had promised you that he was going to stop doing dope. And when I talked to your dad, because like she said, every now and then when we get in arguments, she would call her dad, and I would call her dad too. You know what I mean? Hey, your daughter, like, what do I do? You know what I'm saying? Right. And he used to always tell me, well, if you love her, you're going to stay with her. All right, well, I guess I fucking love her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm staying with her. So he tells me, I tell him, hey, Carl, can we go over there? He tells me, I already talked to Misty. I already told her, give me a month. I need to make arrangements with my roommate and so forth. All right. I hang up the phone. Hey, babe, your dad said we can go. All right, cool.
I love that part of the story, man, so much. I don't know why, but I just, it really shows big character for you, Jesse. It really does, man.
So, mind you, so we're leaving. We're still getting high, though, Mark.
Yeah.
We're still getting high. So now we load up this U-Haul.
We load up the truck, and mind you, we pick up before we left.
Right.
Yeah. So we pick up before we leave. We get our stuff. We're leaving and all that, and we're getting high all the way over here. So on the way over here, we're already hating life because remember, we pray for bitter tastes in our mouth, and God's giving this. So I'm looking at her, and she looks at me. She's like, I want to rip the skin off me right now. I just want to run into a brick wall. I hate the way I feel. And I'm like, and I'm doing the same thing. And mind you, we're in a 3-seater. We're in a 1-seater cabin.
Yeah.
I got the driver's seat. She's sitting in the middle, and I got my son in the passenger. And we have this damn pipe with us, and we're riding, trying to find our way over here.
We're stopping, Mark.
We're stopping all the way through. So we leave from California. We do the drive. What is it, Reno? And then you hit Reno or Nevada? Because we were from Sacramento. Yeah, Sacramento. Okay, from that side. So we come through. We're going all there, and we get ready to run. We get to Grand Junction. Mm-hmm. We're running out of gas. It's like a quarter of a tank of gas. I get to Grand Junction, and I tell her we're arguing. Now, mind you, now we're arguing. And I'm like, oh yeah, I brought you all the way out here. Yeah. Now I'm fucking leaving. I brought you and OJ. Okay, now what? I go, and I wasn't scared because mind you, I already knew. I know that's somebody's daughter. I have a daughter myself. I've done a lot of physical damage, and I'm not glorifying this, Mark. I've done a lot of physical harm to my wife in my addiction. You get me? Mm-hmm. And I just like, well, whatever ass whooping I got coming, my Southsider buddies or whoever it is what it is. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not going to leave me, right? But this whole time I'm like, yeah, this is what you wanted. This is what, the demons, everything's talking, you know what I mean? All these negative thoughts, Mm-hmm. But I have positive thoughts to come over here, you get me? But I'm having all these negative thoughts still. Now that I'm over here, I'm starting to get a little cold feet. I'm thinking the worst. Right. So we get home. We get over there. Uncle Mike sends us a cash app. First, we call her dad. We tell him where we're at. He tells me, where you guys at? Blah, blah, blah. And I tell him exactly where I'm at. And he's like, tell me what's around there. And I'm telling him every store right there. And he's like, all right, you guys are here. So he thought I was trying to hustle him up for $60 or $100, whatever he sent us for gas, right? So we get over here. And it's late at night, 1 o'clock in the morning. And we park in front of his apartments. And
my dad's not answering.
He's not answering. He's not answering.
And sure enough, he answers. No, we go to Walgreens and we come back. But mind you, on the way, Mark, we threw everything out. We threw all whatever drugs we had. We threw it out on the way. over there, you know?
Yeah, that was it.
So my dad, finally, I get a hold of my dad. He comes outside. He's all, scoping us out. And I'm like, damn, like, I just want to go to sleep. I'm worn out. I'm exhausted.
And I'm just waiting for the man just to punch me. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was, honestly, you know what I mean? I'm just like, he comes out, and it's early in the morning, but he comes out with his shirt off. Carl comes out, and I'm like, fucking, what's up, Carl? And he goes up to me and just shakes my hand, whatever. And I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. So he opens the door, lets me in. I'm like, all right, thank God.
So we stay there for, 3 months? I stay with my dad about 3 months. I think so. And he's thinking that we're going to stay like 6, maybe up to a year, But I love my dad, but, I like to have my own space.
Absolutely.
And sure enough, we got a 2-bedroom apartment.
Right across from him.
Right across from him. I stayed close to my dad. I didn't feel like I was ready to fly yet without, a little more strong.
Yep.
So we stayed there, and so we got our own apartment, 2-bedroom, not a 1-bedroom, but we got a 2-bedroom. I said, go big or go home. Right. So we got.
We can't go home. So.
So we got the apartment. Jesse was working. I found out I'm pregnant again with Jayla. She'll be 10 months. Find out I'm pregnant. Do my prenatal care. And
mind you, this is our first pregnancy. Now my wife was sober. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we're over here. She doing
both of you guys.
Yeah, we're both sober. You know what I'm saying? We're doing the sober thing. We gotta get our 2-bedroom.
After I had Jayla, I didn't go through postpartum depression this time.
You're happy. You're excited about it.
I have my mother-in-law. She's a great support. I'm blessed for her. She helps us a lot, and I'm grateful for him being a good dad. And
thank you.
So from there, one night, 3 cops knock on our door, right? Mind you, we have that CPS case, right? They knock on our door, and we're okay because we're not high, right? Bring it in. What you want? We're here to do a welfare check, and they ran our names for OJ, and now Jayla. They know about Jayla too, right? Okay. They ran our names and then left. The next day, sure enough,
we were at work.
Yeah, we're at work. And we got a call that the lady, the CPS worker, was at the house. So they're like, I know my knees went weak, but I'm sober. You know what I mean? So I could deal with it a little. You know, I could deal with this. I'm ready. Clear. I'm ready for this. So sure enough, we talked to the next day we agreed to meet with the lady, and we talked to her. Do our drug test. They get a good report. We're up on their shots. Everything's good. We have a house. We have an apartment to take care of our kids. And then they close the case.
This time, LA County social workers called us up and congratulated us and told us that they were very, very proud of us to do what we did, and couldn't believe that during this whole time that there was no contact with no cops and no other social workers. They couldn't believe that there was no other cases involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I thank God.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And really, it was a sketchy time. And once again, you told me, and when I came to you, Mark, in this situation, I don't have too many people that I know that I can trust that won't blow smoke up my ass. There's not too many. I probably won't even be able to count one. But you told me, Mark, when I went into your office and I sat down and I talked to you about my situation, you told me if there's one thing that I can believe that you won't tell me wrong or steer me wrong, was that to go in there and act like I own it. And I said, what you mean? Mm-hmm. You said, no, don't act. You do own it. Because you're not doing nothing wrong. And I wanted to tell you thank you. Yeah. And now we're doing this broadcast. I just want to give somebody a word of encouragement. No matter what you're going through, no matter what you're facing, don't ever give up hope. Never give up hope. Because where there's a hope, there's a way. And if there's a way, there's an out.
Absolutely. And I agree with that. I just know from experience, it's with, I've never been in this situation with my children, but, I think the reason I felt real confident when being able to give up that kind of advice is, when you're going through life and you're doing dirt and you're doing dumb shit, it's hard to sit back and say, I have confidence stepping into this. But when you're not doing nothing wrong and you're doing nothing but the right things, anybody with a half a heart is going to see that you guys are trying to do the right thing. You know what I mean? And you got to imagine your case from whatever it was. California don't play anyways. I mean, it don't have to be a huge case, but they don't play with that stuff. I mean, California's jacked up, Colorado's jacked up. I'm sure every state is, but California don't play, and I know that from being from Cali, they don't play. So, the reason I feel confident telling you that, and I've told you that numerous times. Henry's told you the same thing. If you own it, is because you own it. It's yours. You did that shit. You got to figure when they came out here, they're thinking they're coming out here to something insane. They one way or another, they're taking these kids, and they come out here and I'm sure that they were like, oh my God, they walk in, you have a home, you have your mother-in-law, you have 2 kids now. You know what I mean? I mean, you're at work when they called. Oh, yeah. Remember the next day, they're like, oh, well, you're like, well, I'll be right there. I'm at work. I mean, now you got a steady job. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's just phenomenal, like what you can do and succeed. You had to go through the grinder though. You know what I'm saying? In order to see, I was just talking to somebody the other day online about it. And, you have to keep, like you said, you don't want to leave your dad's side, and your dad, I told your dad the same thing when he came out here, and that's why he was kind of hard on you guys. That's how it should be. You got to protect you at all costs, kind of like with your brother, you got to protect yourself at all costs. Your sobriety means the world, dude. Without you, those babies aren't going to be able to do it. You owe those babies that. You know what I'm saying? You owe yourself that, dude. You got to put yourself in and keep yourself on that square, and stop thinking. Don't ever think that you've got the whole thing under wraps. Oh, yeah. It's never. I'm sitting here with a 20 on me, and I'm like, at any given moment, I could just say, you know what I mean? I know that. And I know that. I really, truly sit in front of you telling you that. I know at any given moment, I could just be like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I know that. I don't want to do that. I know what I want to do. And when you get, like you're saying, you don't want it no more. You don't want to deal with it no more. You know what it brings, and you got this awesome life. So from your apartment now, how long you guys been out here now?
Going on 2 years.
Going on 2 years.
Going on 2 years. And you guys got 2 years of sobriety, right? Yep. Coming up, right?
Yep.
So in August, you guys celebrating two years of sobriety. Congratulations on that. And from in the time that you've been here, almost 2 years, which is really about a year and a half, right? So in about a year and a half, you've come out here. You've already had other jobs. You got a job now that you're locked up in, right? You got a job that you're locked up in now. You went from your 2-bedroom apartment. You went from that to, you guys got a house now, right? 3-bedroom house with your mom, right? With your mom. And
we also got our son too. We got my wife's my stepson, my son.
And that's what I was just going to get to. And you guys got your kids. You're talking to your kids, right? Your kids are back in your life as well. I mean,
talking to all my kids
pretty frequently, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, and it's crazy how that happens, that part, even because even like when my sister, just to touch base on that, how crazy it is because even like when my sister got clean and sober, it was the same thing. She couldn't believe it because her kids were so upset with her about stuff that she had done and the way she acted. And then she's like, brother, I can't believe that this is like, they're on the phone every day. You know what I mean? And you're on the phone at least every other day, if not every day with your kid, and you're making moves and you're deciding where these kids are going to be and how we're going to get in. Your son's in school and it's like, now we're making moves. We're making strides. You know what I mean? Yeah. But don't ever forget where you came from, and don't ever forget how easy it is to fall short. You're not running from Cali. You're not running from Oregon. You're not running from San Francisco. You're running from you. You get me? You can't run from you. You are you. You are the addict. You are the one that's going to determine whether or not you get high. Yep. There's nobody else. It isn't, I'm going to go. No, stand on your square, make that happen, and build you a foundation that's solid. You know what I mean? When you get that, then you got a way better chance. We'd be silly to say, I got this. I'm done. Nope, never turning back. People like that, I don't give a shit. 30 years, 40 years, at any given moment, it can happen. Yep. You just never forget that. Never forget where you came from, and just make a solid foundation. You know what I mean? I'm very, very proud of you guys.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you guys coming in. So what I want to do with you guys is let's do a follow-up. You know what I mean? If I was gonna say, let's do a follow up. Maybe let's do a follow up on your guys' clean day. Like let's check, come back in August type of thing.
Okay.
And when you guys have 2 years under, let's do a little follow up if you guys don't mind. We'll do it together. We don't have to do it individually now that And I wanted to do this this series like this because I'm sure as well as a lot of couples that get high together don't stay together, dude. And you're not supposed to. I don't care what anybody says. It just that doesn't work like that because the foundation is bigger. You get what I'm saying? And you're building off of crap. And you got to work on you. And in order to work on you, just like you said, let me go through what I'm going through. You can't go through what you're going through when you have somebody right on your hip. You know what I mean? And so you have to, you're supposed to go and get help and get you a program and then somewhere meet in the middle, because a lot of times when two addicts even get clean and get back together, it doesn't work. It's so much easier to relapse. Every time you hear about you relapsing, she's involved. Every time you're relapsing, he's involved. You get what I'm saying? So those are things that you guys got to keep in mind. You guys got to keep each other strong.
Well, today we have a strong support system, so there's no reason to relapse at all. You make that phone call before anything. That and a lot of prayer.
So we one thing is we made a promise with each other that we don't backpedal. We have a big supportive team. You, Henry, you guys said make sure that, call you guys before we even get high. So I'll make sure I ever do that. Second is I really, really thank God that she's in my life, Mark, because this little stretch that I did with doing heroin and stuff, not too many heroin addicts get a stop. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm blessed for that, Mark. I don't take it for granted, bro, but I tell you this, man, I don't want to go through what I went through, bro. That shit's scary, bro. Yep. Kick it like that. And I really do thank you for being there for me. But I'm blessed, man, because I get to work with my wife. Not only did I get sober with her, but I work with her. So, yeah, man. Awesome. Yeah, so we're one of those numbers, and I didn't want to be one of those numbers that make it. Right. But we're one of those original numbers, that's very rare. Yep. And it's not taken for granted, man. We don't take that for granted. We really make sure we support each other because it's not me, it's not her, it's both.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, I appreciate you guys coming in. Thank you. And I will stay in touch. I'll get you guys video out tonight. And once again, this is Mark with Beyond the Struggle, and we'll get this video out. All right.
Thank you.